Mario Kart World has been around for about a month now, and price issues aside, I've really been enjoying my time with it so far. Well, at least a few times I've actually played it. I'm not buying that right now. It's a great reinvention of the series' formula while having the highest skill ceiling of any Mario Kart by far. And while many people are quick to jump into the latest and greatest, there is still a large community of people who still gravitate to older Mario Karts. Whether it be their gameplay mechanics, aesthetics, or simply nostalgia, these games have continued to stay alive even with newer releases, with projects to keep their online servers alive, speedrunning, and more importantly to this video, CTGP, or Custom Track Grand Prix if you really want to call it that, is a series of mods made for many Mario Kart games developed by their own separate teams and are made to compile the best custom tracks for each game into one package, while offering additional gameplay modes and other mechanics. They all have their own unique qualities, but for the most part they all accomplish the same goal, and it can all be traced back to one mod specifically. CTGP Revolution is one of the oldest and definitely the most important mod, not just for Mario Kart Wii, but probably for the series in general. Created by Mr. Bean 35000 VR and Chatters, two very prominent figures in Wii's modding community, CTGPR has been a thing since 2010, only 2 years after the game first released, and as of now has added over 200 plus custom tracks to Mario Kart Wii, which is insane. This mod was mine's and many other people's introductions to custom tracks as a concept, and kinda had the perfect formula for success. I mean, it's a mod for Mario Kart Wii, a really popular game on a really popular system that is very easy to mod. Not to mention you were able to, and still are today, able to play all these tracks online with other people. I mean, I used to watch channels like TWD98 and PK Sparks and thought this was the coolest thing in the world when I was a kid. All the custom tracks are divided into their own cups, and you can definitely tell they were pressed for options. I mean, we got stuff like the Luigi Fireball Cup, Pencil Cup, Rainbow Yoshi Cup, Me Outfit C. And with over 200 tracks, the quality of each course definitely varies, but some of them are really good. The standouts for me include Dragonite Island, a really cool Pokemon themed level where you race through different environments and see different Pokemon throughout. Bowser Jr.'s Craft Castle is a Paper Mario themed track that's an entire castle made from arts and crafts. There's a top and bottom section of the castle and even a little prison area where a bunch of Toads as well as Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Yoshi are locked up. I guess they had to find out the hard way that piracy is no party. Luncheon Tour is based off the Lunch Kingdom from Odyssey. You drive across meat in the stew pot, avoid giant peppers, and all the off-road is salt. Garden of Dreams, fittingly enough, has a really dreamlike atmosphere with its rainbow pastel palette. Music Park showed me that you can change the blooper ink, which is as neat as it is random, and who the hell is that? Desktop Dash has you driving on books, rulers, and even 3DSs. And Boshi Skate Park has you doing tricks constantly, so God forbid you're playing with a Wii remote, otherwise you're gonna get a really early case of arthritis. There's just so much to sink your teeth into, and CTGPR also offers modes like 200cc and completely custom ones as well, like Item Rain mode where items straight up fall from the sky, making the track a war zone, Knockout mode, which predates Knockout Tour in Mario Kart World and basically acts the same, needing to be above a certain place to not get eliminated, but you're playing on actual tracks instead of straight lines. And Countdown mode gives you a time limit to get as far as you can in a given race while being able to increase your time by attacking other players. All of these tracks and modes keeps Mario Kart Wii a surprisingly still very active game despite many others coming out since. And while CTGPR would go on to pave the way for basically every other Mario Kart mod, it does show its age in some aspects. Most notably, none of the tracks have custom music, they're all recycled from the base game. And while it doesn't take away from the track design itself, hearing these songs can be pretty ill-fitting and take away from the tone of some of these tracks. Not to mention, CTGPR hasn't had a major update in a while, so a lot of the tracks may not be up to the quality that modern ones provide. And one of the main issues with CTGPR is that you can't play it on Dolphin, which really sucks since the Wii itself is almost 20 years old, and it's not like Mario Kart Wii is being sold officially anymore. I get it's probably an anti-piracy measure, but it definitely hurts the player base in the long run. There is a fork called CTGP Dolphin made by Koopa Troopa Beach Fan, which does its best to port over all the levels and is what I played for this recording, but it unfortunately doesn't seem to support any of the custom game modes besides 200cc, which is a shame. Either way, despite its dated aspects, CTGP Revolution was and still is an incredibly important and influential mod. And hey, if it worked so well for Wii, why not try it for another one? CTGP 7 carries on a tradition of CTGPR, only this time for, well, obviously Mario Kart 7. The 7 in my opinion is pretty boring on its own, it just feels way too standard to really set itself apart compared to any other entry. CTGP 7 however does a lot to make it a more interesting and enjoyable game. It obviously doesn't have anywhere near as many tracks as something like CTGPR does, but that's to be expected since 7's modding community is much smaller than Wii's. And if anything, I actually prefer a smaller selection of tracks, since it means the ones chosen have a much more consistent quality. There's still 88 additional tracks, with some of the standouts this time around being Paint to Swap Raceway, a track based on that one mirror level from New Super Mario Bros. U everybody loves. Seaside Palace, based off Seaside Hill and Ocean Palace respectively from Sonic Heroes. There's the RC car track from Mario Odyssey, Mushroom Mountain, which is just a way cooler and more interesting Mushroom Gorge, Archipelago Avenue, Warpipe Island, and Miku's Birthday Special 2. This is... wow. CTGP 7 obviously has the same base roster as Mario Kart 7, but it also has a character selector that lets you cycle between outfits similar to Tour or Mario Kart World, but can also just straight up be a new character. We have things like SM64 Mario, Poochie, my goat, Waluigi's back because Nintendo thought Honey Queen was more important, Rob, Vivian, Kirby, Sonic, eShop Bag. These obviously don't change any of the character stats, but it's just cool seeing them all with their own unique animations and voice lines. On top of that, CTGP 7 has by far the most gameplay additions out of any other CTGP out there. The basic additions you would expect like 200cc are here, but CTGP 7 has an entire CC selector where you can put anything between 1cc and 9,999. I dread to think of how that will even be playable, but the fact that it's here is great. There's new items like the Mega Mushroom and Fake Item Box, which actually looks fake now. You can look behind you like you can in other Mario Kart games. There's a versus mode introduced since the original just didn't have one for some reason. There's built-in achievements, there's blue coins scattered throughout the tracks which you can collect that apparently unlock something. It has an entire mission mode like the one in Mario Kart DS being worked on. It even has proximity chat for online play.
Yeah, see you later, Luigi. Come on, H-Track, show me what you got, man. Oh. Yeah! 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 Nico!
Why? CTGP 7 is probably one of the most polished Mario Kart mods out there. It turns one of the most boring entries in the series into an enjoyable game with tons of content. I'm definitely looking forward to future updates for this mod. It's good stuff. CTGP Nitro is what you come to expect with these sort of mods at this point, only this time for DS. It features tons of custom tracks, both completely original and remade from other games. We also have skins like in CTGP 7, there's not as many here, but we still have some good stuff, like Minecraft Mario, Super Show style Toad and Bowser, Wap Peach, and of course, Perfection. Some of the standouts this time were Maker Mountain, a Mario Maker 2 themed level with a completely 16-bit aesthetic, Moonlight Lake has you driving through a cozy nighttime themed village, Mario Circuit 2 was a surprisingly good remake, at least visually. There's a blooper surfing course for Sunshine, which funnily enough just has you driving on top of the water, which, now that I think about it, would be a pretty cool custom track for Mario Kart World, just saying. Flip Out Ridge has a neat night and day transition going on, Toad's Barbecue has you driving through an outdoor cookout, and Sky High Cathedral has a really cool gothic aesthetic. A special shout out to the Chain Shop Comp for just being filled with a bunch of beta restorations. Unlike Revolution or 7, there aren't really many gameplay changes that Nitro offers, it's mainly focused on the tracks, which for the most part are pretty solid. They definitely had the least wow factor out of all of the custom tracks I've seen, but I'd assume that's mainly due to hardware limitations, and I should mention that a custom track doesn't have to blow your mind in order to be enjoyable. It's just something I noticed in comparison. One of the features Nitro has over other CTGPs is custom battle mode maps, which is great since DS already had the best battle mode in the series to begin with. We have maps like Urchin Underpass from 8 Deluxe, completely original maps like Goomba Ruins or Time Bomb Tower, which are really good. There's even maps like the Skeld from Among Us with fully functional vents. Yeah, remember that game? The hell ever happened to it? But the best one by far has to be the entire City Trial map from Kirby's Air Ride being ported over. I mean, City Trial was already the best mode in Air Ride, and it works so well as a battle track, especially since there's no time limit on DS like the modern games. It's just last man standing on this behemoth of a map. The matches can be a little long sometimes, but I don't care, this is still peak. Nitro is definitely a really cool mod and worthy of the CTGP title. It is still being actively developed, though some of the cuts still haven't been implemented yet, so there's bound to be new content soon enough. I mean, you can play them if you want, if you're willing to play GTA and Yoshi Circuit on repeat, but you know, you do you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Not you again! Make it stop!
CTGP Deluxe is the newest entry in this series, with its most recent update being about a couple months ago. I should note there is technically a CTGP for the Wii U release. I didn't try it for myself just because I figured it'd be redundant, but it does exist. With Deluxe being so new, it does lack some of the features that other CTGPs have. In fact, I don't think it has any unique gameplay additions at all, but even with its lack of features, the main appeal of CTGP has always been the custom tracks themselves, which in 8 Deluxe are probably the best ones I've ever played. I know it goes without saying considering it's the most recent entry in the series besides World, but I don't know, these were pretty peak. Vacation Bay has you driving through an entire hotel resort including the beachside, roller coasters, and even underwater. Teehee Trails and KV Cape Cliffside are both tracks based off locations from Mario and Luigi games and are really good. Lakeside Park and N64 Bowser's Castle have some crazy remakes, and Sky High Cathedral is already one of my favorite tracks in CTGP Nitro, and it's even better in this game. Dry Dry Falls and Shipwreck Shore are really just tracks you have to experience for yourself. Piranha Plant Pipeline was included, which is neat because it was the only tour track not in the Booster Course Pass, and with tour kind of being dead, it's basically lost media at this point. There's also tracks based on Sonic levels like Green Hill Zone and Windmill IO. There's a handful of Diddy Kong Racing tracks which are really good. It even managed to make me somehow like Choco Island. There's just so many good tracks in this mod, I can't begin to list them all. So yeah, for some reason you didn't think Mario Kart 8 had enough content in it, well, this is basically your Booster Course Pass 2. Only this time much better. The CTGPs are just really cool. They've not only kept their own respective games alive, but have influenced tons of other mods like Mario Kart Amped Up, Extended, Midnight. But none of them has an Anna from DK Jungle Climber, so it doesn't fucking matter.